Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to go over how to create a histogram in Microsoft Excel. And so the benefits of using a histogram is if you've got data and you want to see how it's distributed, if there's any outliers, and just to compare it. So in this example I'm going to use exam test scores, which is a really easy example for this, just because you normally expect a range to be within highs and lows, and shouldn't be any huge variations, and it'll allow you to see the different ways that you can set up the bins for the histograms and what approaches you may want to use when doing so. So with Excel, it's really easy to create a histogram, because without the histogram chart you'd have to go through maybe using a column chart and doing some manipulation that way. But with Excel, we can just go to Insert, open up all the charts, and you can see it already recommends a histogram down here. But in case it doesn't, you can always find it here if you go down to Histogram and select that one right there. I'm going to hit OK. And so it's automatically grouped my data into different bins. So you can see we've got the low and the high amount, and so we've got all these bins already set up. Now the problem with this is, this is just the default, the automatic that's been set up by Excel. So it may not be terribly practical to use it in this sense. So you may want to do is change the bins, change the groupings. So if you right click, Format Axis, you can see right now it's been set to automatic, and you can see the bin width is set to 6.1. The number of bins is 6. So you can change these easily. Now the problem is you can see you've got some decimal values, so it'll automatically try and compute that. So I could say let's go for 5, how that looks. Now we've got 6.4 for the bin width. Right, we could go to, let's say we do 10. A lot of separation. Now we've got a lot, but now we've got the bin width of 3.2. So you can see you can play around with it a little bit to get exactly the breakdown that you want. One other thing you could do is force that bin width to have, perhaps a whole number. Let's say a number of 5, right? So we want intervals of 5. Now, this is still perhaps not ideal, because as you can see, we've got some odd cutoffs between 53 and 58, 58 and 63, and that sort of thing. So what you can do is use something called an underflow bin in here. So let's say anything, let's say that our lowest test score looks to be about 53. So let's say if we grabbed everything 55 and under. 55 and under. So everything that's 55 and under, now we got 55 to 60. We're jumping by jumping by 5s. In the same sense, you can use the overflow bin. So let's say anything over 80, right? We can cut it off there. Right? And now we're still moving by 5s. We can also set an underflow bin as well. So now we've got anything less than or equal to 55, anything greater than 80. And then we've got our intervals, our bins that are of equal width. They're all 5. So there's no funny decimal places, anything like that. So as you can see, Excel tries to do its best to automatically set these bins for you. If I get rid of the overflow and underflow, but you can see that you've got decimal places may not be ideal for what you want. So if you do want to force it and use a specific width, you can do that, and then just maybe use the overflow and the underflow to grab anything really high or really low, so that way they're not messing up the rest of your chart. Because if you want to start from 55, you can set that underflow bin to 55. Think of it 55 or less, all goes into here, and then the upper range all goes into your highest bracket. So if you want to see the distribution for everything else in between, that's a good way to do it. You can use those overflow and underflow bins as sort of a catch-all, so that way you're not left with either a large number of bins or a strange width that's not a whole number. So by using those, you can make it easy to get the shape or the setup of your histogram the way that you want. And at this point, all that would be left is, if you want to do any formatting, if you wanted to do any changing of the colors, adding grid lines, that sort of thing. But as you can see, with Excel, it makes it really easy to just insert a histogram into here. just go to the insert option, we select the chart, and it's one of the available options that is ready to go. And Excel does all the work for you, and it calculates how many are each bin. So if we added data labels, for instance, we can see that count right there visibly if you wanted to. And perhaps you don't need to have that access over there. So really easy to set up a histogram in Excel.